Hello and welcome to episode 104 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, the podcast where we take a random movie from Metacritic's all-time movie list. This is Colin.
This is Niall.
And this is random movie 3684. It's them!
Exclamation mark.
Yeah, not one before it like Three Amigos, but just one at the end. Them! It's from 1954. It has a meta score of 74, and I use a score of to be determined because, strangely enough, people haven't reviewed it on Metacritic, and I think Metacritic's dying, but we'll let that to another conversation.
Yeah.
Runs for 94 minutes. Director is Gordon Douglas. Budget 1 million. Box office 2.2 million estimated, but it was a success.
Yeah, so much so that I'd actually seen this before, which is quite surprising. Why wouldn't you watch a movie about big ants trying to eat people?
Yeah, no, it was. It's definitely got Channel 4 late night movie written all over it, or BBC 2. I remember watching Forbidden Planet on Channel 4 late at night. That's a great movie.
Yeah. I think I'd consider that more of a classic than this one, although this is kind of important considering what I believe has been influenced from this. We can chat about that later.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't realize when I was listing all the actors from last week, James Whitmore is Brooks from bloody Shawshank
bloody
Redemption.
is. Yeah. I was looking at him. He looks mad familiar. I would never have guessed though. Rose looks like.
He's quite a stone-faced actor. He doesn't really have a lot of range, but
no.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a lot to. He does a lot in this movie, but
he doesn't emote a lot.
He doesn't emote a lot. And then as well, another surprise is Edmund Gwenn as Kris Kringle from Miracle on 34th Street. It's like, oh.
Now, I bumped into a mad piece of trivia because there's an actor that pops up in this for 20 seconds. You got it?
But I didn't see him. I didn't even go back and see it. But yeah, I read it.
It was El Spock himself.
El
Mr.
Spock.
Nimoy.
Did you go back? Did you see it before, or did you see him and go, "Oh, it's"?
Oh no, I didn't cop who it was. I do remember looking at him, going, "Looks familiar," but I can't place it. And
which scene was it?
It is in the scene where there's a poster on the wall about the things to look out for. One of them being look out for sugar theft.
Yes, that was
which I love.
Yeah,
and he gets a telegram and he brings it over to a lady, and he's like, "Hey,
live long and
Spock,
prosper."
You know?
Yeah. The sad thing is about Edmund Gwenn was he was like crippled with arthritis. I read making this movie, and so like he would turn it on for action, and then after he had to be helped back to his caravan or his trailer.
It sucks.
It does suck, yeah.
For girl Harry Medford.
Dr. Medford, yeah.
So, I quite liked him in this, actually.
He was a good character. He's a bit of substance because I think, to be honest with you, FBI agent Graham and Ben Peterson were pretty wooden and two-dimensional. Yeah. They took turns like going, I think this and this and this and this, and they were sort of seesawing.
They're the same character.
Yeah.
In fact, their faces to me just blended into one. Bob and Ben, that's that's one person.
Bob and Ben, yeah, that's for sure. So it's interesting movie to watch. Actually, to be honest with you, it was a tale of two movies for me. First half, I was very happy watching. I was going, yeah, this is fun, exciting. Even when the ant showed up, I'm like going, yeah, go for it.
I loved how crap the ant looks. It's like, I'm an ant.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I think they did a great job. I fully agree. The city scenes later on are.
It's after they go into the desert and go down into the first ant hill. After that, it's just like, oh, let's talk to this person, see if they've seen a big ant.
I liked the shout back to the previous movie where they go to an alco ward in a hospital.
Right, the lost
Mr. Bim's not there, baby.
Bim is not there. We had nobody really in any way interesting in that scene. But yeah, 2 alcoholic awards in a row. That's crazy.
I wonder what alcoholic award we'll get next week.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. It's interesting at the start of the movie that Dem comes up in red, and you're going, "Oh,
that's
color.
The only color." Yeah, it's a strange decision. We could put color on your movie, but
I read it was supposed to be, but they just balked at the last second, thinking too much money. So yeah, didn't have the budget for the color. Wow. We have a very dramatic sci-fi soundtrack that's just like the Lost Weekends sort of cadence to the music.
It fits better because it's a sci-fi. It's a creature feature. It makes sense. Whereas the Lost Weekend was like, no, there's no. Well, apart from the bat and the mouse. Which they didn't put the creature feature music on. God damn them. Yeah. I loved as well with the alcoholic ward. He was talking about big animals, not little animals.
So many connections, so little time. To make them. Where are we? Where is the movie set? New Mexico, is it? Yeah, it must be New Mexico.
Yeah, well, it jumps about a bit, but it starts off sort of New Mexico area. I didn't bother trying to nail it down. It was kind of generic desert.
White Sands area, because that's where the atomic tests took place. And
yes, and I think that was it was the first atomic test. They were blaming for the genetic mutations of these ants.
Yeah, so this is 1954. It's in the midst of nuclear fear, and I'm guessing that is portrayed in little bits here, going, "Oh, nuclear bad," and that's the last line of the movie is like, "This is bad. Nuclear is bad."
Yeah, well, they basically said this happened because of the first test. We've tested several. What's going to happen now? And like, oh,
prairie dog, them too.
Shit. Oh no, the beetles are coming.
Oh no, the stag beetle, dung beetle, all the beetles. Yeah, but so basically it's as we just said, it's based in New Mexico area, and mutant ants are running rampage, and you get quite a nice produced scene at the start of the airplane, and the airplane looking around, and just the 2 cops in the car, and you can see the airplane in the background a lot, and it's quite well produced, them looking for missing people. Yeah, and so this shocked girl is walking around the desert, and doesn't really talk until later on, but you want to mention the sort of similarities with a more cultural... So this
has massive parallels with a movie produced in the 80s by Mr. Cameron. This girl straight away reminded me of Newt in the sequel to Aliens. 1986, I think. So yeah, she's pretty much the same character. She's running around. She's been terrorized by the creatures, and she won't speak to anybody. So it's such a parallel. It's redonkulous that Cameron says it was no influence on his movie. Liar, liar, pants and fire.
Everything's a remix. Everything. There's only so many stories you can tell.
True.
So yeah, she's shocked. She's not talking, and we have Sergeant Ben. I don't know if he's a sergeant, actually. It is. Yeah, he's a sergeant. Sergeant Ben Peterson. James Whitmore. And we also have his very unlucky buddy. I think his name is...
I didn't bother remembering it.
No. I think it's Fred Edwards.
Trooper. If this was a Star Trek show, he'd be wearing red.
He's a red suit. Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, but... quite a nice setup for the movie at the start.
It is, actually.
Mystery girl running around. Let's head to Johnson's general store, see if he knows.
Oh no,
anything.
You're missing a step. They drop off.
The trailer.
The trailer first, and it's been shredded, baby,
from the inside. Been shredded from.
That doesn't. But I still don't get that. How did he get in? How did they get in? Did they knock on the door? Excuse me, can I come in for a second and eat you all, and then rip the place apart?
I don't get it. It should be in.
I think maybe they're trying to suggest that it came up from underneath.
But there's no hole.
There's no hole in the floor. Yeah. It was an unusual thing.
Maybe they're prying it, like their little chompers pry it from the outside. Like they...
Maybe they're just terrible cops who don't know the difference between something being ripped open or ripped in.
Yeah. I was like, How is that working?
There's a reason why I think these guys are terrible cops in the next location, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, so they
find an important piece to tie the young girl to the trailer, which I thought was a nice little piece. He finds a piece of porcelain and brings it over to the girl's doll and fits it in and goes, aha, so he did come from here. So he did do some cop work.
He did, and he picked up a gun with a pencil in the barrel.
Yes, so again, a nod to the Aliens movie, because in that movie, one of the guys picks up one of the facehuggers with his shotgun with the top of it on the barrel. So it's basically scene for scene some of this rip off.
Yeah. We do see, we do hear the first weird sound that the ants are supposed to make. I hear it's made by a frog. They chose a frog, real frog sound.
Oh, wow.
For it. Yeah.
That's a weird ass frog sound.
The kid gets a little bit spooked.
She sits up in the bed.
Yeah. And
gurns a bit and then goes back to sleep.
She does. She comes up like Frankenstein. Yeah. And they don't see her. But then they find a weird big footprint and they don't know what the hell it is.
Take a cat. To be honest, I wouldn't have bothered taking a cast of a random shape in sand.
No, it looked like a camel footprint or something.
Yeah,
camels.
Weirdly, there was one ant footprint. One.
That's true as well. That's a bit.
They have many legs, and they don't just hop, multiple kilometers in one hop.
Yeah, it's a bit.
It's an unusual thing. There'll be tracks.
Yeah, it's a bit weak.
But it's not the only hole in this movie, so I wouldn't be
no. You don't
scientific about this thing.
We can't pull this plot apart. But I think, was it the words they use? Get fingerprint on moulage up here or something. Do you remember that word?
I didn't. I was confused by it. I didn't note it. I didn't go looking.
Yeah, it's the plaster cast technique.
Okay.
But don't quote me, that's moulage. It might be moonalage or something like that, but I didn't write it down. I just read it today, what it was. Also, later on, I'll say the words that an ant expert is called.
Yeah, I wrote it down because I can't. It's on a different page, so I'm not going to bother go looking for it now. It's a weird word.
Yeah, it is. But again, educating ourselves here. So that's all at the first scene, and they head to the second scene to Johnson's General Store because old man Johnson, he'll know what to do, and he's got his ear to the ground.
He'll have seen something.
We also have
seen something.
We also have a callback to another recent episode, don't we? Did you make this connection?
I might not have.
The bent shotgun, like RoboCop bends the shotgun.
Oh yeah. I thought it was
It's not really bent.
It's bent in. It's at a 90-degree angle, which is kind of weird for an ant to do when he doesn't have any like prehensile appendages.
Yeah,
he's got a snipper.
Yeah,
but he can grab it in his hands and go.
They obviously were just thinking, well, what visuals can we do here that an ant might be able to do?
Bend a shotgun at 90-degree angle. That's what they always do, right?
Yeah, but the walls are pushed out just like the trailer here, and also there's sugar.
Yeah, and there was sugar in the trailer. Very important to mention that because that's a theme throughout. There's always sugar, and ants.
Ants.
That's how you get ants. Sugar.
When I lived in Asia, I found out how to keep ants from coming into my apartment.
Sugar?
No, that brings them. Chalk, Crayola chalk around. So I read it online, and then I was out on my balcony one day, and I found an ant, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to kill you. I don't kill creatures. So
you experimented on a soul.
I put a chalk circle around him, and he would not leave the chalk circle. He would go up to it and go, oh no.
Like a demon in a pentagram.
Right.
After you summon them in.
So then I put that all around the window and the door, ledges going in, and never got ants inside.
Very good.
A little PSA for you all there.
That's very useful information.
Did you kind of take note of the radio announcements in this store?
We're talking about Geneva.
They were talking about some, like it was alluding to the world of scientific research and things like that. Nothing crazy, but it was a little nod to, this is where we're at. Nice. Anyway, our little red jacket, red suit guy walks out and...
Yeah, his friend F's off. He says, everything's fine here. Yeah. I'm just going to go home in case the girl wakes up and go back to HQ. You've got this, right? What an asshole. Somebody's dead in the basement. Clearly he pulled a gun on whatever did it. The gun didn't work for whatever reason. And he's like, well, you'll be fine, right?
It's dangerous situation to leave him in.
He's Ben's
There's a sandstorm. There's a sandstorm picking up as well. So
I love the sound of this, actually. I love the howling wind. It's actually well produced, this scene, as he walks out through the hole because he hears something outside. The camera stops panning at this point, and he just walks past the window, and then next thing he hears,
yeah, but it's not a Wilhelm scream.
A Wilhelm scream?
Oh no, you don't know what a Wilhelm scream is?
I do not.
It happens 4 times in this, and when I heard it first, I was like, "Oh my god, they're doing the Wilhelm scream!" It's a well-known scream that came, I think, from a country and western movie. I don't know. I haven't done my research, but because George Lucas used it in Star Wars a few times, and it's just this recorded scream that's been used constantly through the decades of cinema history. Is it some dude
called Wilhelm?
Yeah, it's the character is Wilhelm in the movie, I believe, or the actor. I don't really know.
Oh, that's lazy Foley work there, isn't it?
Oh, but it just became this seminal. It's like yeah, but a bit more range to it. But yeah, he uses it like 4 times. I'm like, going, how many times do you have to fucking use this scream? Like, I love hearing it, but then I'm like, no, I don't like it. But it's culture to use it.
Why is it needed? Because people can scream.
People can act.
Yeah.
Because Ben, when he's in the pincers at the end, he does the Wilhelm scream.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah.
And then that's really like shortly after a guy gets hit in the noggin with a piece of timber in the cave, and he goes Wilhelm scream too.
Yeah.
Like they're really close to each other. Like I don't mind spreading it out, but. Yeah, you need to
not within 20 seconds.
Go on YouTube after this and just type in Wilhelm scream, and you'll see the entire usage of it throughout cinema history.
See how far the rabbit hole goes, huh?
Yeah. So this is a good movie if you love the Wilhelm scream. All right, Ed's dead.
Baby, Ed's dead.
Yeah. So we're there the next day in the police headquarters, and we're all mourning everybody, Ed, blah, blah, blah. But then Ellenson, the family that's missing from the caravan, he's ex-FBI. So we get FBI agent Graham coming in. Old agent Woodenhead himself comes in. And
what I like, though, in the previous scene where they're all sitting around the next day is Ben's going, oh, I shouldn't have left him there. He got killed. It's all my fault.
You can't get over
that. The captain comes goes, no, it was not your fault. I wrote down somewhere. Yeah, no, it is your bloody fault. You killed him, you prick.
Hey, he thought Ed could handle himself.
Clearly not.
Anyway, they're constantly puzzling over this footprint. Then the doctor visits and goes, the Johnson was fucked up with formic acid.
I when I'm doing an autopsy, I always test for formic acid.
Yeah, he did well, the doc.
He did. So he did. Above and beyond. Yeah, the guy was mangled though, like broken spine, smashed skull.
Oh yeah, broken everything. But the thing that really brought home was the formic acid bit, and I think FBI agent sends it off. So the Department of Agriculture docs come along. Dr. Medford and Pat, not Postman Pat.
The doctor's Medford.
The doctor's Medford. Yeah. So he's asking about the atomic bomb test in White Sands. They have a theory, but they don't tell the cops until they actually see the big gun and go, yeah, that's our theory.
What's the point of the theory then?
Yeah, it's like, we don't want to tell you. Yeah, they do it through
look, an ant.
Yeah. They take them out to the scenes and they're like going, yes, and they're talking amongst themselves.
Yes. And going, maybe they're turned carnivorous. I love Ben's expression. He's like, what?
Yeah, Ben's like going, like, you need to tell us this. We're here together. Yeah. No, can't do it until
you've just said carnivorous. I need to know what you're fucking talking about.
I'm out here. I'm meat. I am meat.
I do want to be chewed on.
Yeah. So we're 30 minutes into the movie. We haven't seen an ant, but we are going to see one now. Obviously the weird sound comes along first, and then she's bending over, and this ant just looms up in the background. This huge ant head, and I thought, yeah, this is fun.
Let's have antennas.
That. Yeah, the antennas flailing.
It looks almost cuddly.
Yeah, it's sort of disarming, but then you go, yeah, this is 1954 creature flick.
Yeah.
So I'm all on board with it, and I was very happy to be all on board with it. But I'll let you know when I lost the plot, literally, and when it happens. Anyway, they start shooting at the first end, and Dr. Medford in the back goes, "Shoot the antenna!
It's the last
Shoot
time
the
anybody
glass!"
It's the last time anybody tries to shoot the antenna.
True. Well, that's because they only had little pow pows first, and then Ben runs off for a Tommy gun, a Thompson.
Yeah, listen, that's just, don't bother shooting the antenna. Just blast it with loads of bullets. That works even better.
And that works. Like later on in the movie, machine guns work against the ants. They're not impervious. They're not super mutant
super
ninja ants. Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, they take a few shots, but they're not bulletproof.
Exactly. So I think who asks what is it? Somebody says, "What is it?" Yeah, it's a fucking.
It's a big hospital with sick people. Big building with sick people. But that's not important right now.
Yeah, exactly. Also, another new word here was stridulation.
I've heard this before. This is rubbing your legs together to make a noise.
Yeah, it's the ant noise.
I'm pretty sure stridulation doesn't sound like the noise that was being broadcast over.
That's
froggies.
Froggies. He also does do a little religious quote, Dr. Medford. He says, "And the beasts shall reign over the earth." I think that's from the Bible. Probably.
That's from the Bible. Yeah, but that's not very scientific, buddy. So stick to your
stick with the scientific books. So they're going basically, okay, we need to look for the bloody anthill here. Where there's ants, there's an anthill.
Or there could be several thousand.
Several thousand. Yeah.
Well,
so they've got these two very interesting, weird-looking helicopters. I thought they were. And
yeah, these are really weird helicopters of the time. They're weird-ass looking things, though.
Yeah. What did you make of the sort of comical Ben with Doctor Medford? Over. It's like a airplane. Yeah. Roger. Over. Huh?
What's your Victor?
Yeah. So no, like going, you have to say over.
It's an attempted comedy. It's not great. But then maybe back in the day, that would have been hilarious. Yeah.
Rolling around the aisles of the cinema with their cigarettes in their mouths.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no longer funny. Perhaps it was at one time.
Find an anthill, and it's kind of cool because the ant has a rib cage in its mandible. I think. Do you call it?
In his mandibles, yeah. And he chucks them down. Chucks the rib cage down into a pile of bones where a policeman's belt is there. So Mr. Ed is dead.
Ed's
He's
dead,
in
baby.
A hole.
Who's Ed? Ed's dead. Said, I know. So they're back at base, and this is a sort of a pre-warning of the next half of the movie, because they have quite a big discussion about anthills, and they make a mountain out of an anthill.
They certainly bloody do.
They talk about midday attack. They talk about when to attack. Okay, don't attack at night. We attack at the daytime because it's hot.
Don't let anybody know. It'll cause panic. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. But we need to get it done now.
We're going to use phosphorus bazookas, then we're going to chuck in a bunch of cyanide. Let's roll.
Yeah, like phosphorus bazooka. Phosphorus bazooka seems like not a thing, as far as I can tell.
That's fine.
But it's effectively explodey, so I'm okay with that. It gets the job done from a story point of view.
Yeah, and Ben from now on though is acting like a soldier.
Yeah,
he's a police dude. He's a regular PC plod, but he's
got FBI and PC plod and and a general, and that's it.
They're keeping it under wraps.
Even though there's an army base up the road 10 minutes, we'll
made the ants.
Yeah, we'll send in some cops to fire bazookas. Again, plot holes ahoy all over the place in this thing, but
whatever.
We can forgive it.
This is fine. I'm enjoying myself up until this point. Yeah. It's fine. So they're chucking bazookas, and then they go to the lip of the anthill, and then there's an ant comes out and goes, "Oh,
hello!"
And they chuck down a cyanide on his head, and so they go in, and it's sort of they go into the thing, and this is obviously another Aliens sort of connection, right? Because it's very labyrinthy and
there's a scene where she reaches over and touches the wall and says, "Oh, look, saliva holding it together," which is super Aliens, because when they go underneath the nuclear reactor, it's all saliva.
Yeah. So there's dead ants. Yeah. Everywhere.
That down.
I know, right? So did I. It was the punchline to a joke. I can't remember what the joke was. Anyway. A wall comes down. There's a little, not a little ant, but a big ant comes through, and they kill that with fire. There's also, when that happens, there's like a close up of the masks. That's that they're wearing. That's quite a good production choice.
Yeah, this is actually for 1954. I think all of this scene here is brilliant. There's a lot of tension as they go, and this claustrophobia as they lower themselves lower and lower into a hole filled with cyanide gas.
True.
And being attacked by ants that have been barricaded behind walls.
Yeah.
It's excellent. In terms of scaring the crap out of people from 1954, I'd say this worked.
Yeah. They head to the Queen's chamber and all the eggs are empty, so then they go, oops. Something's happening. Burn everything. The Queen's
she screams at them, burn everything, and they all get out of the hole.
I think Dr. Medford said, buddy. Yeah, back at HQ, I think Dr. Medford says, this might be the end of us. Inform Washington. And then they go to Washington and they just turn on a projector and we have a fucking 5-minute documentary of ants. This is where the movie starts going shit for me. I'm sorry, like the first half of the movie... I'm all for
a bit of exposition, but I don't need an education.
Listen, I went through school. I don't need a movie on ants.
I know, if you just sit there for 2 hours while I turn this projector on.
This is an ant. Yeah, we know.
Yeah. Sometimes ants can live underground. They can be strong too. Oh, thanks, buddy.
Here's 2 ants fighting. Here's an ant with a pebble moving it.
He nearly manages to move it all by himself.
Yeah. So after this, it's sort of like, here's the worst case scenario. Man might be extinct within the year because it might be thousands of...
He could have started with that without the bloody slideshow.
The production choices after that initial ant hill invasion that they did, not good for me. A lot of boring conversations, a lot of investigating of where ants might be. We only get to see the ants near the end of the movie then.
It's almost like a cop show at this point because they're tracking down leads and none of it really is interesting.
It's
the 2 cops. It's Ben and Bob again, but it's all Ben and Bob. And I don't care.
They're not very interesting. They're not very interesting characters.
I did like the hospital scene. That's about it.
Yeah, you like alcohol word scene. You just wanted Ben to show up.
I know what I like because I've been there,
I think I'll just list a couple of things here that I don't really want to go too crazy into it. Like, they have to monitor all the news for all these weird things. Like, that's the poster where Leonard Nimoy is like, look for sugar theft. Some guy got locked up for saying he saw a UFO that looked like an ant. So they go to the branch,
which was 3 ants.
Yeah,
and there was also a ship that was full of ants that they sank.
That's the next scene. This guy in the nut house totally reminded me of Nick Cage. Nick Cage could have done that role. He was actually quite good. This guy in the nut house.
A bit young, Nick Cage.
Yeah. Well, but he was like he's crazy. He's
manic. He was quite good.
But I hated the way he's like going, "You'll get me out of here, right?" They go outside and go, "Keep him in there."
Yeah, it was a massive dick move.
Yeah,
keep him in there until we say it's okay.
Yeah.
What happens if they forget to say it's okay?
That's happened before. People just get forgotten.
They're kind of busy. In fact, was it Ben who said that? Or was it Bob?
Yes, it was Ben. It was Ben.
So Ben dies.
It was Bob.
Okay, good. Because if it was Ben, he would have died before telling him it's okay, let him out.
No, it was FBI agent Graham. Yeah, Bob Graham that did that. So yeah, the next scene is they hear that a nest is hatched aboard a ship at sea. This is the first time you hear the Wilhelm scream when the guy gets pincered in the.
The guy working the.
Yes. So the thing comes through the window and goes yoinks.
Nip, nip, nip.
Yeah, and he goes Arr! Wilhelm scream.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So then we have another explanation of how the ant got into the ship. And then there's Ben and Bob are off in California chasing down a 40-ton sugar theft. And they're talking to the dude in the railway, and he's going, "I didn't do anything." He's going, "Yeah, that's fine."
Who steals sugar? I think was his point. Why would I get involved in a sugar heist?
Yeah, exactly. You know what this reminded me of, and you're probably going to disagree with this. I found L.A. Noire the most boring game I've ever played.
Yeah, I didn't
probably
particularly like it either. My wife loved it, but
I hated
it. Does feel like some of the chores you had to do in it, which you were tracking down leads.
And then they're like, you're looking at them, and they have to make a weird face, and you go, "Oh, suspicious."
Press X for suspicious.
Press X for suspicious. Diddle-dee-lee. Or doodle-doo. Yeah. This reminded me of, and that's not a good thing. I know one listener who's listening to this who will be totally not happy with me saying I hate L.A. Noire again, but this reminded me of L.A. Noire. Yes. We get to meet the Lodge family, or Mrs. Lodge, because Mr. Lodge has been killed in a car crash.
His arm was dislodged.
Yeah. Their two sons are, and that's another boring scene. It's like the two sons are missing, so the cops, Bill and Ben, the flower pot men, are fucking asking.
I know what we'll do. We'll go ask some drunk people.
Well, yeah, but no, before that, they're going to Mrs. Lodge. Okay, so list out every single thing they've done before on a Sunday.
It
this entire half of the movie is shit.
Nonsense.
First half, I was like going, this is great. Happy it's big ants. I was wondering then when they got into that ant nest halfway through the movie, I'm going, or 1/3 through the movie, I'm going, what are they doing for the next 2/3?
Yeah, because it looks like they're finished. I had no issue with the princess ants escaping. I'm absolutely okay with that.
That's fine.
It's tracking them down is poorly executed for a movie. It really sucks. I have no problem at the end where they're actually in the tunnels. I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
But I fully agree. This bit's a different type of movie. It's a different genre, and it's not executed correctly.
I think the Lodge family fucked this movie up.
I have written down here, your kids are dead, get over it.
No, because then the entire end scene is directed by the fact that the kids might be still alive.
Yes.
She turns up on the front line of an ant ambush. She comes up in a car, and the army guy goes, "All right, mate, missus, what are you doing here?" And Bob comes over, Ben comes over and goes, "She's with me. Her sons might be in there."
In fairness, Dr. Medford says, well, we couldn't actually do it anyway because we need to go in and check for the eggs, which is a fair enough reason. Have they got out already? Do we need to keep bloody looking?
Don't dislodge my hatred of the Lodge family. They ruined this movie.
Fully agree. I would have been okay with the kids already being dead at this point.
Back to your point, interviewing drunk people. What the fuck?
There's a great line in it, because it's another tie-in to the Aliens movie. Because the alcoholic in the corner says, "Mostly at night I see them," which is a great line reference back to Ms. Newt, where she says, "They mostly come at night. Mostly." But then, I'm going, how are you seen from your... Oh, there's a big window there looking down on the canals of Los Angeles. Okay, I see. What I love is, these are huge effing things. They're 12 foot long. And they make a massive noise. And they smell like formic acid.
They smell like formic acid. What does formic acid smell like, I wonder?
Apparently it smells like almonds. I googled it.
Oh, well done, you.
Almond butter, actually, I think was what.
Doesn't weird doesn't death bringing gas smell like almonds as well, like mustard gas or something? I think
it might do. Yeah, I haven't sniffed all of the gases that kill you yet, but
you're on your way.
Get around to it.
Yeah, you get it done within the year. I've this whole thing, and then he's singing a song. What does he sing?
Oh, make me a sergeant.
Make me a sergeant.
Make me a sergeant. Get me a drink.
Something. Make me a sergeant. Get me a drink. And the patient beside him, shut the fuck up, please.
Nerves.
That's right. That's a good one. Please, my nerves. I prefer shut the fuck up.
I don't know if they would have got away with that in 1954.
Yeah. Anyway, I did write down "please, my nerves." Yeah. So they go down to the riverbed and blah blah blah. It's them, all right. They find little clues, just like L.A. Noire. Diddly-lee. It's them, all right. Yeah, the airplane. Go over and call Mrs. Lodge if this is their airplane. Yes, it's their airplane. She forgot to tell us about it. Blah, blah, blah. All right, they make an announcement on the TV going, listen, we're in trouble. We're all screwed. Stay. And then there's a montage of people. I want more of that.
Yeah.
That was a good montage.
Disaster stuff.
Because I like 50s. I like looking at 50s diners where there's news about alien invasions and then people are going, oh, shit.
See, I think
give me one entire
a slideshow is way cheaper than filming all that stuff. I'd say that was quite expensive to set up. And it was actually quite well done. I thought it was well produced. Whereas the slideshow costs about $12 to do.
It was from National Geographic or something.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the mission to go into the 700 miles of sewers.
The troops.
As we say, Mrs. Lodge is down at the drain on the front line. I'm like going, get out of there. And then, then one of the guys goes, we want to burn the drains. And then the whole entire thing, no, not yet, with the two boys in there. That's one of the lines. This is
where Dr. Medford goes, yeah, and also I need to count some eggs, if you don't mind.
The fact that the two large boys are first.
It's the human race. Literally, the existence of the human race are these two boys. I'll go with the existence of the human race. Thanks very much.
They head on in with their jeeps, and as the video you sent me today, it looks exactly like aliens when they go in with their big buggies or whatever.
In with the tank, yeah, the APC. So there's a lot of similarities, and even the lighting where he's climbing through the pipe
the tunnel
is the same.
Yeah, the pipe.
Bishop the android climbing through a pipe.
True, but before he goes through that pipe, though, they hear some weird noise, and they go, "It must be the boys." Then he radios back and goes, "We've heard what may be the kids." And Mrs. Lodge goes, "Oh, yes."
It's a bit of an assumption, though, isn't it? It's a knocking noise.
Jump to conclusions.
If they were talking, then I'd be like, that could be the boys.
So Drain 267 is where it's at.
Everybody loves a bit of Drain 267. There's a mad rush, all the troops converging on it.
Yeah. Ben flamethrowers the ants because they're there. They're pincering the boys, trying to get at them. Ben saves the boys. Again, Ben gets pincered by an ant, and he does the Wilhelm scream. The army arrives. Another Wilhelm scream when the soldier gets, as I said, knocked in the noggin with a plank of wood.
Head as a cave-in happens.
And they go to this ledge, and there's 3 ants down there, I think, with the little paper wings
stuck on. Yeah. Oh, the little. Oh my God! You just killed the children. Ants.
You know, it reminded me of I was in the north of Thailand once, and
when you were killing ants with flamethrowers.
There was ants. We were sitting outside, and then suddenly there's just like flying ants everywhere, just landing everywhere, and it just brought me back. It was not fun. They call Dr. Medford first, and they go, "Yo, you want to see any of this shit?
Can you count the eggs and stuff?"
Yeah, that looks good, lads.
1, 2, yeah, that'll do.
Burn them.
Well, that's it, really, isn't it?
Well, then that's the last few lines.
All the other atomic bombs.
Exactly, the last few lines.
Shit.
Them too. Yeah. Dr. Medford is a myrmecologist.
Merman.
He's a merman. He's a studier of ants. Dead ants.
Yes, very important job, according to this movie.
So, if you are a fan of the Wilhelm scream, watch this movie because it happens 4 times.
I was definitely Googling what the hell that is.
You're going to, well, you love Star Wars too. Like George Lucas uses it, I think, with one of the stormtroopers. And then, like, I watched a documentary once. It's from a cowboy movie, I believe. And I believe it's definitely for the actor's name or the character's name.
Wilhelm.
Anywho, as I said, and this is my overall summary of this movie, I can't stress how much I enjoyed the first third of it up until the point they went into the end. Till I was like going, this is cool. I like the fact I'm watching this. And I would like to watch a couple more of creature flicks from the 50s. Because that's where it's all at.
Drunken Student Niall used to love this crap.
Yeah, and maybe I watched some of this back in the day, but yeah, I like all that weird fake animals, creatures.
Oh yeah, it's over the top, plastic.
Yeah.
James T. Kirk fighting a man with rubber rocks, throwing them at him. Like that's
Gorn.
the Gorn. That's the lad.
The
I love
Gorn.
that rubbish crap monster stuff. Completely fake, not scary, and people get killed by it. Fantastic.
And just fun. Let's have some popcorn or something and it's fine. But I then must stress that the 2/3 of the movie is then boring because they're just chasing up leads, like boring LA noir, picking up shit going,
Oh, look, sugar.
Sugar. Did you do it? No, I'm a bloody human being. I don't fucking eat 40 tons of sugar. It's not diamonds.
Yeah.
All right, you can go. Thanks.
Thanks. Well, what about the other guy? He's stuck in the insane asylum. He can stay.
Yeah, whatever. He's a twit. Yeah. I haven't rated any of this. What are you rating the plot?
I have only rated so far the music, but the plot, I'm going to give a 3.0. First half, stellar. Last couple of minutes, fine. But as you say, it flatlines for a while. I would have given way more if it had been that level. I would have given up to a 4 if it had been the same the whole way through. I love the start. I love it. Absolutely love it. Some of the production is actually quite good and interesting. Some of the dialogue's a bit stilted, but that's because it's 1954.
I don't give a shit. I'll mention it, but I don't care about it. I don't care that Ben is quite wooden because he grows up to be Brooks and gets life imprisonment. Brooks was here.
Yeah.
I'm giving the plot 2.5. I can't get over the last 2/3.
It is grim.
It ruined my night. And I was quite full because I had just come back from the Indian restaurant and I had a big chicken korma at the Indian restaurant and garlic naan, and I was like, I'm quite uncomfortable here, but this first third of the movie
40 tons
quite
of sugar
cool.
was just too much then, was it?
I was like, yeah, I don't want to see all this sugar. Acting, I'm going to give.
It's a tough one. The acting doesn't matter in this movie.
No, it's a 2.25. Yeah, I was going to give it 2, but I'll give it another quarter because I've seen worse acting in a 2000 odd movie like
that's true.
Knock Knock.
Yeah,
and Helena.
You know what? I'm going to copy you because I can't come up with an excuse not to. It's pretty atrocious at times. There's a couple of decent bits. Dr. Medford Senior, I quite like. Pat is okay at times.
Pat's good, and that's another thing I forgot to mention. So that whole FBI Graham, there's a little inkling of romance there, but not until the last scene, where she kind of looks at him and goes, "You're alive. Get down there with the ants. You annoy me."
Yeah, she's good, but Ben and Bob
she's good. But she's good because the rest of it is all men, and they just all are kind of wooden. Yeah, and
yeah. I did like the fact that she had a reasonably powerful position. She's not quite Sigourney Weaver in it.
That's good, yes.
But it's 1954's Sigourney Weaver, which is just allowed to be on screen.
She, I think she only died recently.
Really?
2021, yeah.
Oh, wow. She must have been a fair old age.
And the actor who plays the girl is still alive, Sandy Desher.
Get out of town. So we've got a movie where not everybody's dead.
Yeah, well,
because even Spock's dead.
That's true, but he was a grown-up. Sandy Desher was a 11-year-old girl, or even younger, probably 7 or something. So she's born in 1945, still alive.
Wow.
Still alive. Which is nice, because everybody looked at it was just dead meat. Soundtrack I'm giving 2.75, just slightly above average. Good creature feature music intro, and then the sounds of the ants were made by frogs.
I'm going to go 2.5. I didn't like the sound of the ants.
You're not supposed to like
I had one issue with it. It was when you could see the ants, the sound started in some scenes. Because he popped his head out of the hole and then the sound started. That annoyed me. because in other scenes you can't see the fuckers from miles away and you can still hear them.
Oh, they're
Be
communicating.
consistent.
They're underneath you, going, doing their whatever it's called.
Leg rubbing crap, this striations.
Stridulation.
Stridulate you.
So production, you kind of have to put it into context of 1954 and what they were doing. So I'll give it 3. It's good for the time, and you know what? The ants look like shit in the 2025 lens.
Yeah,
but I don't care. I like the fact that they built them.
3.5 from me. I fully enjoy some scenes, like the scene where Ed is dead. I absolutely love that, where he gets killed.
It was good. Yeah, good scene.
Yeah, obviously the creatures look absolute pants, but it's 1954. It's the best you could do.
What about the fact that they never got around to actually using the stinger with the formic acid, because they couldn't actually do that with the models? They could only just go open the pincers, grab the person. They couldn't actually flip the bottom stinger tail around like an ant will do.
Yeah, and, even though the doctor went to pains explaining that's what kills people.
Yeah.
No, the pincers does it, because we can't do it. We don't have technology now. Maybe
with them too, they could have done it.
Aliens, that's them too.
Aliens, yeah. Back in 1954, the Baltimore Sun gave it 58 out of 100. Though them, that's a very hard first part of the sentence. Though them benefits from a well-motivated script that suffers from the same hackneyed ingredients that characterize most films of the same genre. Entertainment Weekly gave it 100 out of 100 by Steve Simmels. He said, the movie's then state-of-the-art mechanical beasties aren't entirely convincing, but this archetypal, how do you say that word? 50s monsters on the loose flick can still tingle your carapace thanks to taut direction, an intelligent script, a believable cast, and a nail-bitingly effective climax in the sewers of Los Angeles. Did Roger Ebert review this at all? Let me just see. Probably not, right? He didn't. I don't think he went back and did that sort of stuff. Didn't go back in time. No, he did not. So there we have it. What do you think of that then?
It was a good enough time. It could have been half the movie and it would have been way better, as you said earlier. So it didn't upset me to watch it.
It didn't upset you. That's fine then. As long as you're not upset, then we can move on with our lives.
Yeah, I think like other movies we've watched, it's not the best movie I've ever watched, but I think it's an important movie in that the creature features have led the way to some other movies we've seen since, like Thing and Aliens and Alien. They all build on top of each other.
Yeah, I think you have to go into... Yeah, you have to go into one of these creature features from the 50s with a very open mind. You cannot just be waiting to laugh at the creatures.
Yeah.
Back then, they were scary. And I didn't laugh when I saw them. I was just like going, good. Nicely done. Nicely done, 1950s production crew.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Absolutely.
Some people would find it silly, but...
It is silly.
It is silly. But not... I'm laughing at them silly. I'm having fun.
Laughing with them.
Yes.
Well done, 1954 people.
Well done. So what? What do you want? Any way to finish off this episode?
Well, we could always chuck some cyanide gas into the whole of this movie and move on.
Let's stridulate our way out of this episode and begin our careers in myrmecology. If that's actually what it was. Yeah, it is actually. All right, let's roll the dice from our Metacritic's all-time movie list and see what we are going to get for episode 105. And you are going to be quite happy with this choice.
Oh, yeah?
It's random movie 1404, and it's from 1997, and it is Face Off. Face Off.
Speaking of Nick Cage, as you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. Second movie with him in it.
Wow. I love a bit of Nick Cage. And this is prime lunacy Nick Cage.
Is this the one where he has the golden guns?
Yeah.
It's a John Woo flick, of course.
I loved a bit of John Woo in the day.
It's his highest rated movie, along with The Killer in Metacritic. Summary: FBI agent Sean Archer knows how to stop elusive terrorist Castor. He'll become him. Archer undergoes a futuristic surgery and has Troy's face mapped onto his, then infiltrates the terrorist's world to discover his deadly secrets. But as much as Archer looks and acts like Troy, he doesn't really know him. He never figures Troy will retaliate and force doctors to transform him into Archer. Now the agent faces a shattering nightmare. His arch rival is living with his family.
It truly is the stupidest of all movies, and it is glorious.
It's got a Metascore of 82, which is quite high for a sort of silly movie, and a user score of 7.6. John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, Joan Allen, Gina Gershon, Dominic Swain, Nick Cassavetes, and a bunch of others. Right. Runs for 2 hours and 18 minutes, so it's a little chunky.
Get out of town, really?
Well, it's a little chunky.
Wow.
Just a little bit.
It's okay. It flies by, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I've seen this, so I wonder how it holds up with modern sensibilities.
Yes, 97. I probably watched it in 98 or 99 on fucking VHS, probably still at that point.
Rented
God
from,
almighty.
Not Blockbusters, but Extravision.
Extravision, yeah. All right, cool. So that'll be something to look forward to. That'll be episode 105. If you haven't shared or subscribed to us, please do so. Our email address is in the description below if you want to reach out to us. That'd be nice. It'd be nice to know if you're listening to us and enjoying our format of our podcasts. We messed around a little bit a couple of episodes ago with inserting some movie clips into it because I have a life last week and this week's episode. I'm not putting them in because it takes longer. I'm just used to pressing a few edit buttons and then releasing just like we are here. I enjoy putting the clips in. It really adds a bit to it, but it's quite a bit of work to go through the movie, scrap it, and chuck it into where we're talking about something. It's kind of cumbersome. If we ever get paid, I'll certainly do it, but I'm not going to do it
when you can give up the day job.
Yeah, but if people have very strong opinions of it, then reach out. Let us know that you would like to see them in the episode. All right, we'll see you on episode 105. Ciao, ciao.
Ta-ra.